Bortle here at the 2019 YCS Fort Worth event with Day 2 competitor. Introduce yourself and what you play.
I'm Bobby Kenny. I made Day 2, unfortunately punted away around 10, but I was playing a 60-card Evil Eye Trap Trick Orcust. It's a pile. 60-card Orcust pile. That's what I play.
60 cards?
Yeah.
Man, what deck took you out?
I lost to Lunalight Orcust. Game 1, he went first, opened God Hand. I opened like literally unplayable. Even if I went first, it was probably I would have to do like the most awkward play involving like tribute summoning a scythe to do anything going first.
Oh,
yeah, and so game two I got him with locked in with Artifact Scythe after setting up a board that he super polyed. And then game 3, he bricked and I punted because I played into a Bortle Sword that I could have played around like 20 different ways. I played into a Nibiru by making Bortle Sword. I made Bortle Sword and used symbols when I could have either made Apollosa and played a grind game or Bortle Sworded without using symbols and still had a board afterwards. I played, that was the first Nibiru I lost to that wasn't from time, so.
Oh, okay, well, let's see the 60 card
Okay,
slide.
so yeah, starting on Orcust Engine, pretty standard, 3 Harp, 2 Nightmare, 1 Symbols, 1 Wands. It's not broken, don't fix it.
Okay.
There's a world where I might want to play 3 of these, or play a second one of this guy probably because Gizmek, but 60 cards, Gizmek isn't a huge deal.
Yeah.
I played only 2 things to dump. Normally I prefer Scrap Recycle to Armageddon Knight because I'm playing, like, if you've seen any of my older builds, I'm usually playing like O-Lion and Jet Synchron and stuff, but I wasn't playing any of the Synchro stuff. So Armageddon Knight, everything that this dumps is dark, so I switch one of them for Armageddon Knight. These are kind of like your backup normal summons. You do these when you have them, and they pair really well with other extenders, but on their own they're just whatever.
Thoughts on Mathematician?
Mathematician can't dump World Wand or Nightmare, which occasionally comes up, or Gizmek. So I want the utility. The monster shouldn't be staying on the field anyway, so the extra attack and the draw doesn't matter that much. And also, both of these trigger off special summons, so I play Monster Reborn. I still feel that card's too good to not play in any combo deck, so
Alright, perfect.
yeah, they trigger on special summon. So the big tech thing was 3 Surzeal and 1 Basilius. So this guy is ridiculous. My only complaint about him is he's dark. This deck is, in my testing, this deck is very good, except for when the format is incredibly saturated with Nibiru and Super Poly, which it turns out this event was. Like, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have played this engine again. So Surzeal, so pretty much this engine, it's similar to like the Trickstar engine where you have a bunch of starters that get you to 2 monsters, but in the case you have any extender, you get to keep Surzeal, and Surzeal's kind of like a mini masterpiece. So the combo will let you get to the equip spell and equip it to him, and once he's equipped, he can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, and he can pop a special summon monster as a quick effect once per turn, and every time he uses his effect, he gets bigger. So he just takes over a game. Unfortunately, he's dark, and everyone's playing Nibiru, and you're still Orcust comboing. So I think I had him stick once the entire tournament. Most of the time, it was kind of just 2 extra monsters for extending. And yeah, if the format played less Super Poly, this thing would be insane. Definitely a card to look out for in the future, like when Super Poly is less relevant.
Yeah.
So I played 6 Dangers. Not playing any sort of, I'm not playing like any Synchros or Xyz stuff this time, so the levels didn't really matter, so I'm not playing any of the like level 8s or the level 4s, just playing the good ones, the free summons, the free discards. Played Corbane, just so that I could play Light Stage, because Light Stage is still ridiculous, and if you draw, it's still a free summon. Gizmek, another thing to grab with Crescendo, or Orcust Nightmare, and just insane card. I had one game against this really weird anti-meta deck where I had to summon this guy 5 times in game 1. I had 40 cards banished face down off of him. Managed to win the game with like 3 or 4 cards left in my deck.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then played a couple hand traps, played 2 Ash, 2 Crow. I've been just playing the 3 Ash and I wasn't playing Crow, but I felt Crow was a really good call for this week. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I want to cut Ash entirely. In the end, I ended up splitting the difference 2 and 2. honestly don't know if that's correct or not, but every time I drew Crow, it was really good. So maybe I should have been playing 3 of this and only 1 of this, or just playing 3 and then bumping up another card. I don't know. But it's kind of like last minute. I didn't know which was better, so I split the difference. So that's all the monsters. Very small and 1 scythe, because I'm playing Sanctums. So, so yeah, it's 26 monsters, which is really low for 60 cards, but it works out pretty well all around. You do supplement your monsters a lot with spell cards. Play the 3 engage for 1 Hornet Drones. I haven't been playing any other targets for engage because in general I haven't really felt they were worthwhile. I've considered playing like 1 Widow, but I wouldn't play Eagle Booster. Once you search the Eagle Booster and they know you have it, they're just going to hand trap the stuff that can't be Eagle Boosted. So yeah, this was fine. I think I had once the entire tournament where I drew both of these and I just pitched the engage, but played 3 Instant Fusions. This was another thing that I wasn't playing the past few weeks, but I just felt Window was too strong not to play. I think I drew this twice the entire tournament. Wish I drew it more, but it was fine. One game made Window and should have won, but I punted and detached the... I didn't detach Longirsu from my Dingirsu, and then he led on Instant Fusion for Thousand Eyes and ate my Window, and I couldn't bring back the Longirsu in response to kill it. And yeah, that was my second loss. I punted game 2 with that and then lost game 3 in time, where I needed 5 more seconds to slam a Dingirsu to send a Nibiru and attack for game, but happens. So I was playing Terraforming and Set Rotation, so I could play a bunch of field spells, played Light Stage and Babel, and then 2 of the Evil Eye field spell.
Oh, it's a full field spell.
4, 3 different field spells, 4 field spells total. I was playing 3 of this for a while, but when I was trying to make space for, I was playing 2 Sanctum for a little bit because Trap Trick, I wanted to put the 3rd one in, and I wanted to put in the DD Crow. This is one of the cards that got cut in the end because it's hard once per turn, and it's like there aren't that many Evil Eye cards in the deck, so you don't really need multiples. And then the Set Rotation just made sure that you could get to Babel more reliably, so you could get Babel and Crescendo, and it's a nice disruptive card in a few matchups. So. And then I played Eye of Selene. So yeah, this is the thing that makes the whole Evil Eye engine work. Well, Surzeal is the thing that makes it work, but this is like the thing that brings it all together and makes it worthwhile. So this, while it's equipped to an Evil Eye monster, that monster can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, targeted by your opponent's card effects, or destroyed by battle. Anytime the equipped monster activates its effects, it gets pumped by 500, but you lose 500 life. And if you have the Eye of Selene in your graveyard, then you can banish another Evil Eye spell or trap from your graveyard to set it to your field. So I'll show you like the general line. Like let's say you just have any of your extenders and your Surzeal. Your line will be like you Surzeal for the field spell. The field spell gets you to Basilius. Basilius is like your Corbane type thing. It's special, or Girgi Accelerator, whatever you want to call it. Special summons if you have an Evil Eye monster. And then once per turn you can dump an Evil Eye spell trap. So you dump the Selene to the graveyard. Then you do your Orcust combo here. And then with your Galatea on the field, you set your Babel over the Paradalia. So, and then you finish your Orcust combo and you pay 1,000, banish this, and put this on the field. So now you have Selene equipped to the Surzeal on top of Orcust combo stuff.
Wow.
And it makes playing through everything very difficult unless they have Super Polys. And oh my god, so many Super Polys today. But yeah, so that's the main thing with the Orcust package, or the Evil Eye package there, rather. So played 1 Orchestrated Return, just good draw card. A lot of time if you have access to Babel or whatever, I'll just go for this to try and dig into 2 cards because I'm playing a bunch of trap cards and the trap cards are really strong. Like in general, a lot of time I'd rather have 2 draws than the Crescendo even when I do have Babel. And in some matchups you just want to go for the 2 draws to just find a blowout card when you feel that they can just push through your other stuff. I only played 2 Call by the Grave. This was another concession to trying to fit in some of the other things. Like I was saying, I didn't have DD Crow before this, and I was only playing 2 Sanctum on 1 build. So I was like, well, if I add in the Sanctum and the DD Crow, I can afford to trim one of these because those cards do similar stuff. Like disruptively, the DD Crow does the same thing as Call by the Grave, disrupting your opponent's plays. And if your opponent hand traps you and you have a Sanctum, well, you just Sanctum into Scythe and you should get a second turn anyway. So not the same as Call by the Grave, but very similar in a lot of cases. So I ended up trimming this down to 2 just as a space thing. Foolish and Reborn, just super powerful cards. Honestly, this feels a lot weaker in this build compared to a lot of my older builds, just because I'm playing less variety of powerful grave effects, but it still gets you to one of your Orcust cards or Gizmek, so it's really strong there. And Reborn's Reborn. Most of the time, your opponent will disrupt your play, and you slam a Reborn, and you win the game. And then 3 Cosmic Cyclone as my main deck back row hate. You can't play Twin Twister in this format with Dingirsu everywhere. So yeah, you have to play this. This out to Crescendo or out to Babel. Twin Twisters never does. And then, yeah, so that's it for the spells. I believe that was 22 spells. Yeah, 26, 22, 12, yeah. So 22 spells. For traps, played 3 Impermanences, another hand trap, and you can access it off of your trap tricks. This card's ridiculous. It's just one of those things where it's like your opponent, you do like your basic Orcust play, or your opponent disrupts you, and if you have trap trick, you probably win the game anyway. Because for the trap trick, you're playing the 3 Sanctums, pretty much an auto-win card if you resolve this in a lot of matchups. And then in the matchups where Sanctum isn't good, I'm playing 2 Zero-Day Blasters. So this is like an Icarus attack for Dark Links. As you tribute a Dark Link monster, you target cards equal to its link rating and destroy them. So against like the back row decks, they'll set you their stuff and they'll be like, oh, well, I have all these trap cards that they can't interact with. They can't get rid of all of them, right? And then these will break apart their board, and then you're like, end phase, Zero-Day Blaster, sack Longgear, so you kill 3 of your back row. Probably the craziest play I did all day against like this weird anti-meta deck, round 9. So I already knew like what he was on from game 1 is like, so I was just like, I feel like I just want to stockpile my graveyard resources. So I passed on just Surzeal Dingirsu, but it made it so if he outed the Dingirsu, I'd Harp, Symbols, and Nightmare all in grave. And he Super Polys discarding a Fossil Dyna, and then normals another Fossil Dyna. And hits me for 4K, sets 3. In his end phase, I called by the grave the Fossil Dyna he discarded, symbol back Longirsu, use the Harp and the Nightmare, Longirsu send the Starving Venom, and then flip Zero-Day Blaster and kill 2 of the back row and the Fossil Dyna. It was probably the craziest play that I never thought would happen, but no, this card's sweet though. And last card, the 1 Crescendo, like, too good not to play. Honestly, this is the thing I probably set the least off of Galatea, but you still want to have it. Yeah. So yeah, that's 12 traps, makes it 60 cards. It's a pile. Evil Eye stuff, definitely keep an eye on it. They get some new support that makes like the Link 3 and stuff actually playable. So like when the next set drops, I'm definitely going to be revisiting it. Even if Mermaid gets hit, which it probably will, I'm going to try messing with Evil Eye something. Okay. And hopefully at that point, if there aren't Orcusts running around everywhere, I won't have to deal with Super Poly. So yeah, so extra deck, Kagari for the Sky Striker package, 2 Nightmares for a Mermaid. Honestly, the only reason I play 2 is because Nibiru happens, and sometimes if you have other extenders, they'll Nibiru you on the Phoenix or Cerberus summon, so you need to have a second one. Like I would either cut the Cerberus if Nibiru wasn't a thing, or cut something else to fit in a second Mermaid, just so that in some of the grindier games it comes up. Like I think I wanted a second Mermaid twice this tournament and didn't have it, so might try that. So Orcust package, 2 Galatea, you don't need 3. Longirsu, 2 Dingirsu. So another thing that I'm gonna mention for the 2 versus 3 Galatea, a lot of people I see when they end with the Longirsu in the main zone, they end up burning 2 Galateas on their combo. If you have an extender, like let's say you like open the Harp and you go combo discard like Mermaid discard Harp, you can Mermaid for Skeleton, use Skeleton, Nightmare, and the Mermaid to just make Longirsu first. Then you go like Nightmare for Wand or Gizmek to make the Galatea with the Longirsu, and then symbol back the Longirsu, and you still end up with this board, and then you get your Tier Babel and you drop the Dingirsu, and you only have to use 1 Galatea. So it's just like, a lot of time when I see people end on like this board, they burn 2 Galateas, and that's why like it's like everyone I talk to like, yeah, you need 3 Galateas because you use 2 on your first combos so often, and I've just found that isn't the case. So, so yeah, that's it for the Orcust. Play Bortle Sword because it ends the game. I'll play Apollosa because when you anytime you open like Like, it's generally when you open like the Sky Striker plus Surgial, you can make this a lot of the time. That's actually how I ended up losing my last round, was I could have made this, and I decided to go for game and got Nibiru'd, so shame on me. And then for instant fusion targets, play Thousand Eyes Restrict and Wind Up, pretty standard. And just out stuff, stop stuff. And then I had space to fit both Mega Fleet and Fortress. The Mega Fleet you want for the Cyber Orcust matchup. I was on the fence with both of these actually, because I wasn't expecting Cyber Orcust to be as big as it has been, so that would mean this was gone. But if you play Cyber Dragon, which I side Cyber Dragon, having Fortress Dragon just means, in general, the Lunalight combo, the Cyber Dragon outs the whole combo, because they usually end on Dingirsu Galatea Griffin. If you just summon Cyber Dragon, you contact into this at 3k and run over the Griffin, and then main 2 you can go off safely. So yeah, that. And then it also, playing this means with the same Cyber Dragons in the side, there's a lot of other matchups where you just bring in Cyber Dragon going second, and you just make Mega Fleet. So yeah, side deck, as I was saying, 3 Cyber Dragons. This card is, like, a lot of formats, it's like, oh yeah, you want to play like a Kaiju or something. This is just as good as a Kaiju in the majority of matchups, and in some it's way better. So we're on this for this event. 3 Lancias, you can grab them with Sanctum. So like if you're in like a mirror match, you will just always have Lancia pretty much between Sanctum, Trap Trick, and just hard drawing the Lancias. 3 Gnome for mostly Lunalight and some random other Orcust combo nonsense. Didn't draw this card at all, but 60 cards, that happens sometimes. And then 2 Twin Twisters. I'd probably play 3 if I had more space, but I felt with 0 Day Blaster and stuff, this was less important. And with the last 2 cards in my side, well, 2 Eradicators. This does a lot of what this does in like the back row matchups. Call either spell or trap depending on the matchup, and you just win. And you play 2 so you can trap trick into it. And then last thing is Full Force Virus, similar to the Eradicator, but for different matchups. So Salamangreat, this blows up pretty much every card except for I think Falco. I think Falco is the only main deck monster that this doesn't hit, like as far as the Salamangreat stuff goes. So a lot of the time they just can't play. Like this says you have to have Will or you're out. Against the Luna Orcust deck, it pretty much hits every card that they don't want in their graveyard. Like it hits the Tiger, it hits the Kaleido Chick, it hits the it hits Tiger, it hits Kaleido Chick, it hits like this, it hits Tsuchinoko, it hits like the stuff it doesn't hit is the stuff that they want in their graveyard for the most part. So against that I bring it into, and Pendulums is the other big one. Pretty much every relevant combo card for Pendulums gets wrecked by this. Usually against Lunas or Pendulums, I'll wait to see if they try and commit their normal summon before doing this. Or like against Pendulums, like I'll let them, like if they lead on like Dragon Shrine, then I'll wait for the thing to hit the field. But it's like kind of a toss-up because sometimes they'll play their scale first and it's like, so I didn't run into any Pendulums and I haven't gotten to test too much against it, but on paper this just destroys them, so. But yeah, so that's the side deck, yes.
Any shout-outs, man?
Shout out to Ed Deception. He was the one who got me on the trap trick thing because he was playing last week or a couple weeks ago for like Niagara and Guadalajara and stuff. He was playing trap trick in the Cyber Orcust for the Sanctum and for Cyber Overflow. And I pointed out to him 0 Day Blaster and he was like, whoa, this card exists? That card's really good. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And it's been pretty good. But yeah, and shout out to everyone back in Orlando. Freaking Garrett, Rafi, John, Josh, all you guys for helping me test this and figure out what's going on here. And yeah, Geo 60 cards. I know you hate it, but it works. So yeah, thanks.
But, it's unfortunate you didn't top this event, but
it's my own fault. Like it's not the deck's fault. But it's like 2 of my 3 losses were entirely just me doing some stupid error, playing into stuff I could have played around. So, happens.
Again, congrats on day 2. And,
yeah.
Thank you again.
Yep.
Bortle out.